Golgari Gardens is boring. That's why I decided to create my own version with cards like Glimmer Bear, a creature that resembles the mighty Atog and grows by sacrificing tokens, and Nadir's Nightblade, which drains your opponents for 1 life when tokens leave the battlefield. With them, I will abuse all the black card draw sacrifice effects available in Pauper to never run out of gas by sacrificing fodders like Shambling Ghast and Greedy Freebooter in a deck ready to take over the best meta Pauper strategy. Our first match is against Boros Glitters, one of the format's most popular decks. Our plan will be to set up and aim to kill the creature they would put all that glitters onto. For now, I will attack for 1 since I don't think they would be willing to trade in this scenario. The opponent then plays another Inspector and a Glint Hawk to return the Lembas to their hand so that they can play it later. In my turn, I will attack again with my creature and use the Hunt for specimens to fix our mana later with Environmental Sciences. This sequence will be often repeated in many situations in other matches, but for now, we just passed the turn. They tried to play all the glitters while we were tapped out, but as planned, we got Snuff Out ready to kill the creature, so they just played the Lembas and passed. As planned, I used the Environmental Sciences to find a land and played a Titan Blade to kill a creature. And of course, we attacked. The opponent plays an Experimental Synthesizer into a core Skyfisher to return it. We attacked with the team and killed the Skyfisher. I don't know why I didn't kill it earlier. Post-combat, I sacrificed my Shambling Ghast to give -1/-1 to the other creature, kill it, and draw more cards. The opponent played a second Skyfisher, returning the Synthesizer, and played a Bar Batterfist and passed. I then played the Boshuka Bog and flipped my Tiding Blade to start draining their life each turn. A Synthesizer revealed an Inspector and a second Glitter showed up, but we killed the creature in response, so they just played a few more cards and passed it back. The Deadly Dispute sacrificed the Ghast to kill the token, and I passed the turn again. The opponent then attacked for 2 with the Inspectors, played a second Batterfist, and cracked the Lembas and a Clue, so I returned 2 of my creatures to hand by sacrificing the Blood Fountain. I drained them again, created a token with Golgari Garden, played both creatures, and eventually found a Glimmer Bairn. The plan is to fireball them with it, and incidentally drain them with the Nadir's Nightblade I found. Wedding Invitation, however, could be bad news as they can sacrifice it and make a creature unblockable. If they manage to land a third Glitters, I would lose the game. Makeshift munitions are also annoying, especially if they start pinging to my face to finish the deal with Lightning Bolt or Galvanic Blast. On my turn, I created a second plant token, played the Nightblade, and used the map token to pump my Atog at home and attack with it. If they don't block, they are dead, so they chump blocked and attempted to kill one of my tokens, but I decided to use another Deadly Dispute to draw more cards. Hunt for Specimens is an excellent draw, as now I can create 3 tokens along with Pest Summoning. After playing the cards, I attacked with my team, killed the Batterfist token with the Shambling Ghast ability, and then found another Snuff Out to have a clean attack, and that's how I won game number 1. Game number 2 is messy in terms of sideboard, but 2 copies of Arms of Hadar, a 4th Snuff Out, and some Troublemaker Oof should be good enough to win. Like previous games, the plan is to play the Hunt for Specimens into Environmental Sciences and fix our mana. Speaking of, our opponent seems to be a bit color screwed, so I will set up but got 2 for 1 for not attacking first. The opponent then plays a Synthesizer into a Glint Hawk and returns it, revealing 2 cards they won't be able to play anymore. As you guessed, the plan is now to play the Oof and kill their white source. I decided to keep mana up if they wanted to remove my Oof with a Bolt. The opponent attacked for 2 and played a Lembas that found a second white source. I also attacked for 2 and played a Hunt for Specimens and a Shambling Ghast before passing. The opponent attacked back and played a Bar Batterfist. On my turn, I used Deadly Dispute to remove the token and attacked for 3 going up in the race. I got to 17 and they found a Synthesizer into munitions, so at the end of the turn, I sacrificed the Treasure token in hopes of finding more lands, but a second Oof is very useful as now I can kill the second white source or the munitions. I attacked first and they tried to shoot down the token, so I sacrificed it with a Fanatical Offering. Post-combat, I played the Oof, removing the land and a Hunt for Specimens to get my Pest Summoning. The opponent found another white source, played a Lembas, and put me down to 16. But regardless, I was still winning the race. I attacked again, putting them down to 8, and played a Pest Summoning. They used Galvanic Blast to my face to close the distance, and I assumed they wanted to kill me with burn spells relatively soon. They also played a Core Skyfisher and attacked to put me to 10. With the Arms of Hadar in hand, I attacked with everything. Post-combat, I used back-to-back Deadly Disputes to draw some cards and gain life, then proceeded to clean the board. They sacrificed their creatures in response to deal some damage to me, and on their turn, after playing a Lembas, they just passed. I played a Gardens into a Nightblade and attacked, but they used Dragon's Breath to clean my board, so I used my Fanatical Offering to draw more cards. They then finished the Nightblade with diminutions, but at least I drained them and put them down to 1. After playing back-to-back Synthesizers, they found a Lembas and a Lightning Bolt, which put me down to 10 again. I attacked for the turn, putting them down to 3. I played Pest Summoning and the Nightblade, and they used Galvanic Blast on it, so I gained 3 more lives with Reckoner's Bargain. They then rebuilt their board by cracking a Synthesizer to put a Samurai token. I played a Glint Hog to bounce the Synthesizer, and another Galvanic Blast shot my face. I then played the Nightblade and used the map token to pump the Freebooter, but they tapped out and tried to kill it. To this, I sacrificed it with another offering and eventually drained them by sacrificing my tokens to win me the game. The next match is against Orhzov Midrange, a similar deck to Boros Synthesizer that runs the combination of Tiding Blade and Core Skyfisher to outvalue opponents, as well as the Pestilence and Guardian of the Guild Pack combo to keep the field clean. While the plan is similar to the one we use against Boros Synthesizer, without lands, it's tough to win against any deck. So after a few turns have passed missing land drops, I was ready to move to game number 2. Unlike our previous hand, this one is excellent, so I decided to keep it. Post sideboard, I think just a couple of Oaths should be good, with the slight issue that we don't have many ways to deal with the Resolve Guardian of the Guild Pact outside of Tiding Blade. After a few turns passed, I managed to play a Glimmer Bairn and a Nadir's Nightblade onto the field, so all we need to do now is fill the board with tokens. The opponent plays a Cleric, but I immediately kill it. On my turn, I attack for 2 and post-combat use the Bargain to draw 2 more cards. I then created a token and played a second Bairn before passing the turn. The opponent then plays a Guardian of the Guild Pact, but we have a Tiding Blade ready to kill it. I then play a Hunt for Specimens, create another token, and attack for 3. The opponent then untapped and played a Drowning Sorrow, so I sacrificed my tokens so my Glimmer Bairns survived. I played a Garden, created a token and a few more pests to attack and pump my creatures, put my opponent down to 6, played a greedy Freebooter, and passed the turn. The opponent then played a second Guardian of the Guild Pact, so I used my Fanatical Offering on my Tiding Blade to create another token and attack. The opponent blocked, so I sacrificed my token, and in game number 2, we moved to game number 3. While this hand could be better, it has 2 card draw spells and many ways to create tokens, so we keep it. The opponent then played an Ichor Wellspring to draw a card, and at the end of their turn, I drew 2 more cards before untapping. I then played another Garden, a Hunt for Specimens, and a Shambling Ghast to fill the board. However, my opponent decided to play a Pestilence to kill my smaller creatures, but the good news is that now I can play my Nightblade, so if they do, they will lose some extra life points. On their turn, the opponent played an Indoctrination Attendant, and I decided to kill it to attack freely. I sacrificed both my map tokens to pump the Nightblade, created another token, played a Glimmer Bairn, and assaulted with the party for 4, putting my opponent down to 12. The opponent attacked, and I blocked, then they tried to use Pestilence to kill my Bairn, so I sacrificed my tokens in response. Still, they were able to kill it with a cast down, but I put them down to 6 after attacking and sacrificing a token, and I filled the board with 2 more Pest tokens. Pestilence killed the little creatures, and consequently, they went down to 2 life points thanks to the triggers. Finally, a Tiding Blade killed the Nightblade, and with no creatures on the field, the Pestilence went to the graveyard. On my turn, I played a Blood Fountain to return 2 of my creatures in play, and put the Baron and the Freebooter on the field. The opponent then played a Skyfisher, returning a Blade to replay it, forcing me to sacrifice my Freebooter. I then untapped and killed the Skyfisher. While I could attack, I did the fancy kill by playing Nadir's Nightblade to sacrifice the tokens and win that way. For our last match, I wanted to showcase the deck against the blue one, so we will play against blue-red control. With a bit of mana screw on our hands, I decided to loot away a second Snuff Out to find a land, but unfortunately, I did not. After playing Ponder, the opponent passed, and I found a second land, so I kept attacking. They played a Brainstorm and another land, so at the end of their turn, I opted to bait a counter and successfully did so. I attacked once more on my turn, and post-combat, I sacrificed my Freebooter with a second offering that found a well-timed Boyuka Bog to prevent multiple Tolerant Terrors from hitting the battlefield. I then played a replacement Freebooter and passed the turn, but the opponent killed it. They untapped, played a Murmuring Mystic, and passed the turn. but I was able to kill it quickly with Tiding Blade and play a Shambling Gas after that. The opponent untapped, passed the turn and killed my creature when I targeted it with the map token. I used another offering in response to draw some cards, and a second gas joined the party. After the opponent decided to pass again, I kept chipping away some damage by attacking with my 1/1, but it met another removal. Post-combat, I used the Bojuka Bog to exile the graveyard and decided not to play the Nightblade to avoid a counterspell. As it turns out, my opponent was recklessly killing my creatures as it was preparing to resolve the Monarch, an emblem that can only be obtained by dealing combat damage that lets you draw a card at the end of each turn. Because of this, I decided to kill their creature and play both of mine, aiming to steal it as soon as possible and return a Bojuka Bog to keep exiling the graveyard. The opponent untapped and played a Cryptic Serpent for the total value, but luckily I had removal ready to kill it on my turn and attacked with the party to steal the Monarch away. Post-combat, I transformed the Tiding Blade and passed the turn while drawing a card by the end of it. The opponent casts a Lorien Reveal to draw 3 more cards, and an Augur of Bolas reveals a Scred. All I can do now is untap and attack with the Bairn to force a chomp on the Augur. Post-combat, I transformed the second Tiding Blade to drain them for 2 lives on each of my turns. The opponent then used a Brainstorm and a Cannonade to attempt to clean the board and finish my Glimmer Bairn with the Scred they found earlier. The good news is that they still don't have any way to get back the Monarch, and more importantly, I can keep draining them with my Flip Blades. They tried to kill my Nightblade at the upkeep, but I used my treasure token to drain them for 1 life and used the Deadly Dispute to draw 2 cards in return. However, they had a counterspell ready for it. I then played Hunt for Specimens on my turn, but I misclicked and got an Environmental Sciences instead of a Pest Summoning. Regardless, I passed the turn and drew a card at the end. The opponent untapped, playing 2 back-to-back Tolarian Terrors, but I can wall them with my small creatures while I drain them for 2 each turn. They realized this and scooped. 2 Duress should do the trick post-sideboard, and a Nihil Spell Bomb is optional. I play my Gardens and will wait until I can play Duress with a Hunt for Specimens on turn 3. I cast the first and it met a counter, so I was free to play the Hunt and pass the turn back. The opponent plays a land and passed. I then attacked. However, my opponent used a removal to kill the pest. I played the Pest Summoning and exiled my opponent's graveyard after that. The opponent then used a Ponder, passed the turn, and I attacked with both my tokens on mine. Then I played a Nightblade followed by a Shambling Ghast, but the former met a removal. On their turn, the opponent played a Murmuring Mystic, but as it happened last time, it met a removal on my turn. I then used an offering to draw 2 more cards and put them down to 15 after attacking. They then played a second Mystic, but it also met a removal. Duress revealed 3 Tolarian Terrors, so after casting a Hunt for Specimens, I attacked for 4, putting them down to 11. They played their first Terror, but it met a Tiding Blade on my turn, followed by a Glimmer Bairn that aimed to end the game next turn after attacking and putting them down to 6. However, an Augur of Bolas revealed a Fiery Cannonade to prevent me from winning the game on the spot. But, thanks to the Shambling Gas ability, I was able to kill the Augur of Bolas. I attacked and put them down to 5. Then they played a Terror for the turn. I may have made a mistake by attacking with the party, but they are close to losing if I manage to resolve the second Nightblade and the other Glimmer Bairn. The opponent used a Ponder that found a Scred to kill the Nightblade, but with only 1 card in hand, I proceeded to play the Gardens, the Glimmer Bairn, and the Nightblade to drain them to death to win this last match with this exciting and powerful deck.